Electric vehicles are not the way of the future, at least not as we know them. Your electric vehicle is hazardous to the people who helped create it and not as reliable as you may think. Why? Electric vehicles are the way of the future, you say. They save the environment from fossil fuels. Well, after much research, both for this class, my geology class, and during the process for shopping for a car, I have come across much evidence to support my claim that electric vehicles are not the way of the future. Not yet, anyways. I'm sure most of you have at least heard of the benefits of electric cars. Some of you may even drive one already. And even if you do not currently drive one, as electric cars become more and more affordable, they will also become more and more common. However, what many of you don't know or haven't thought about is that electric cars like Tesla that require apps to use or charge can have bugs that severely affect their users like most apps. Electric car batteries also contain about 10 to 20 pounds of cobalt, which is often mined by children or those suffering extreme poverty. And those people are exploited by companies for their labor. Electrical grids in many areas can also be extremely affected by weather, which can shut down power grids for days. With these issues, it's hard to see electric vehicles as they are now as the way of the future. To start with, in November of 2021, hundreds of Tesla drivers reported being unable to use their apps to unlock their cars. According to the article, Tesla drivers left unable to start their cars after outage, according to BBC. While having the convenience of being able to unlock your car with your phone is great, things can clearly go wrong and be at minimum an inconvenience, and at maximum, an app malfunction can be a severe safety hazard if someone is trying to leave an unsafe situation or evacuate from a disaster zone. While yes, some people may have kept their backup methods of getting in on hand, not everyone always remembers them. I don't know how many times I've forgotten things while leaving the house or accidentally broken them. If something happened to your backup method of entering your electric car, what would you do? What would you be able to fall back on in an emergency, like the app not working? You would just like the man from the CNN article, phone glitch leaves some Tesla drivers locked out, who got stuck outside of his car for hours since he lost his key card and the app had gone down. Clearly, electric cars like Teslas cannot be trusted to even unlock when they're supposed to. Besides some having issues with their locks, electric cars at their core are dangerous to those who help produce them, such as the cobalt miners in the Congo. According to the article from the Washington Post, the cobalt pipeline, tracing the path from deadly head-dug finds in the Congo to consumers' phones and laptops, 10 to 20 pounds of cobalt are used in electric vehicles, and cobalt mainly comes from the Congo, where it's often mined by hand. These miners only make the equivalent of about $2 or $3 a day, and often work alone, without safety gear. As we can see in this image, this man is wearing no safety equipment, only a headlamp, and there's nothing to help remove the toxic fumes from the mine. Cave-ins are frequent, but since they usually kill only 1 or 2 people at a time, the media does not report much on them. Clearly, the mining of cobalt is very dangerous and exploitive, and we should not condone such abuses. Children also work in these mines. While the US has laws on conflict minerals, cobalt is not one of them. There needs to be changes in the cobalt industry before electric cars become the way of the future. Finally, electric cars must be charged regularly by being plugged into either a charging station or at people's homes. However, those electrical grids that supply homes and chargers go out all the time, such as during storms and in high winds. Recently, Michigan has been experiencing severe power outages according to the local Station 4, click on Detroit, in their article Tracking DTE Energy Power Outages in the Southeast Michigan. Power restored to thousands. Due to severe winds in the region, just like the other day, power in my apartment complex went out a couple of times from the weather. Besides somewhat usual weather events, major disasters can leave people out of power for days, such as during Hurricane Harvey, according to the CBS article. Hurricane Harvey, Texas power outages affect more than 250,000. Besides that, power outages can affect thousands of people, potentially millions, and be out for days in many places. Having an electric vehicle would cripple people's ability during such times to be able to leave to get to safer areas, such as if their house was compromised during the storms. as the vehicles would not be able to charge while the power was out. The inability to charge electric vehicles during power outages makes them unreliable in many people's time of need. In the end, electric vehicles as we know them are not the way of the future, as they cannot be relied upon without a backup key. Their manufacturing exploits children, as well as the impoverished, and not only that, they cannot be relied upon in times of emergency to be charged when needed. We must petition our lawmakers to enact laws against the exploitation of people in the cobalt industry, as well as have laws that require that cars be opened with a key so that people can reliably enter their cars. Further, we need to fund the kickstarters of companies working on electric vehicles that run on something like solar or wind, which can be more reliable in times of disaster. While electric vehicles may be better than traditional cars, we need to clear up issues with them now, instead of using them as the band-aids they are currently.